When you first open the New Testament and begin to read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you might expect a single, seamless account, as if four authors had all sat down in a room, compared notes, and agreed on the wording. But that's not what you find. Instead, you find four different voices, four different emphases, four different angles on the same glorious person, Jesus Christ. To the skeptic, those differences can seem like discrepancies, but to the discerning heart of the believer, they reveal something profound. No one edited the truth to make it look perfect. No one airbrushed the story to pass inspection. What we have is raw, spirit-breathed, eyewitness testimony from four men compelled to speak, not by agenda, but by encounter. And that makes the Gospels not less trustworthy, but more. Because in a world obsessed with image, control, and alignment, the Gospels dare to be real. And in doing so, they whisper to our hearts that this is not mythology. This is not fabrication. This is truth. Seen, heard, felt, and remembered. Let's step into that sacred reality and explore why the differences in the Gospels aren't a problem to be solved, but a divine signature to be worshipped. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, each man sat down at a different time, in a different place, with a different burden burning in his soul. They weren't writing for fame. They weren't collaborating to spin a narrative. They were writing because something had happened that the world could not afford to forget. Matthew, a former tax collector, saw Jesus as the promised Messiah. His gospel is rich with Old Testament references because he's writing to a Jewish audience, his own people, pleading with them to see the one who fulfilled the law and the prophets. Mark, likely a companion of Peter, gives us the action-packed version, Jesus in motion. He skips past the nativity and dives straight into miracles, parables, and power. His gospel is the shortest, the most urgent. Written to Roman believers, it's the gospel of a servant king. Luke, the physician and historian, offers precision and compassion. He writes for the outsider, for Theophilus, and every wandering heart that ever questioned if they were worthy of God's love. He highlights women, children, lepers, Samaritans, the overlooked. His gospel is the gospel of the least and the lost. And John, John, the disciple whom Jesus loved, his gospel is different from the others altogether. While the others show us what Jesus did, John is consumed with showing us who Jesus is. In the beginning was the Word. His gospel is poetic, theological, mystical, inviting the reader to see beyond the miracles and into the very heart of God. Now, here's what's astounding. None of them changed their story to match the others. No editorial committee fixed the timeline. No one harmonized the quotes. They each told the truth as they remembered it, as the Spirit moved them. And that untouched diversity is the hallmark of truth. Because when people fabricate a story, they collaborate. But when people tell the truth from memory, from experience, from the fire of real encounter, you get something raw, unscripted, and holy. Now consider this. If all four Gospels said the exact same thing in the exact same way, wouldn't that seem suspicious? Wouldn't it read like a rehearsed performance? Instead, what we find are moments told from different perspectives. One Gospel says Jesus healed one blind man near Jericho. Another says 2. In one account, the angel at the tomb is sitting on the stone. In another, he's inside the tomb. In John, Jesus clears the temple at the beginning of his ministry. In Matthew, Mark, and Luke, it's near the end. Contradictions? No. Complementary angles. Have you ever witnessed the same event as someone else, only to notice you both remember different parts? That's how memory works. That's how truth feels. And what's most powerful? Despite the different emphasis, the message is astonishingly unified. Jesus was born of a virgin. He healed the sick, raised the dead, forgave the sinner. He was betrayed, crucified, and buried. And on the third day, he rose. And that core never shifts. That truth remains unbroken, unwavering, unshakable. It's not sameness that makes something reliable. It's harmony in the essentials. And that's exactly what we get. Sometimes the most powerful proof is not what you find, but what you don't find. So what's missing from the Gospels? A coordinated script, a redacted version, a unified editorial voice forcing consistency. That silence shouts. If this were legend, the differences would have been erased over time. Editors would have cleaned it up. Church councils would have standardized the text. But they didn't. They preserved it. Because real faith doesn't need to manufacture perfection. It trusts the truth to stand on its own. The ancient scribes copied what was there, even when the accounts didn't line up perfectly, because they knew what we're reading is testimony, not a screenplay. The integrity is in its untouched honesty. You see, truth doesn't come to us in duplicate. Truth comes with smudges of memory, with the rhythm of real human voices, with the fragrance of personal experience. The Gospels weren't written to impress scholars. They were written to transform hearts. And when you read them, you're not reading fiction. You're listening to 4 men who were changed forever by a man who claimed to be God and backed it up with power, compassion, wisdom, and resurrection. Their differences don't destroy credibility, they prove it. The Gospels don't need to match like blueprints. They fit together like stained glass, each pane unique, but forming one breathtaking picture of God in flesh. So, don't let the differences in the Gospels disturb your faith. Let them deepen it. This is not a rehearsed play. This is the echo of footsteps on Galilean dust, the rustle of robes at a resurrection dawn, the tears of a disciple watching his friend die only to see him walk again. The fact that Matthew didn't match Mark and Luke didn't align perfectly with John, that's not a weakness. It's a miracle. It means no one rewrote the story. It means the gospel isn't propaganda, it's proclamation. It means that what you're holding in your hands is a treasure delivered by human hands, breathed by the Spirit of God, filled with divine fingerprints. So let the harmony stir your soul. Let the diversity of the voices remind you truth doesn't need to be edited. It just needs to be heard. And these four voices, they're still echoing across centuries, across cultures, across our hearts, calling you, inviting you to believe, to follow, to see not just the story, but the Savior. And when you do, you'll realize the differences in the Gospels are not barriers to faith. They are the bridge. They are the music of testimony. They are the fingerprints of truth. And they lead you straight to Jesus. God bless you, my friends.